Hey everyone, this is Andrew, and in this video I thought I'd show you how to create wavetables. Now in the last video I showed you about Kontakt 6's new feature to do wavetables instead of samples, and I mentioned that I would show you how to make wavetables. Now I did link in that description some examples of how to do it, but I thought I'd show you how I do it, and I do it with Serum. Now this is not a free software, so if you're looking for something free, again, I'll link in the description. But if you already have Serum, this is great. If you don't have Serum, it's a great wavetable synthesizer, very similar to Massive. In some ways it's better, and in some ways I like Massive better. So it kind of just depends on your workflow and certain features that you might want. But Serum's great, so I highly recommend you get it. But anyways, Serum makes it very easy to simply grab a sample. So I'll go in my spooky piano instrument, and I'll get the same sample that, actually I'll grab a different one just so I don't get any weird file issues. Let's do D. I was using C1, so let's do D1. And here you get some interesting things. I've never played around with which ones of these do which, so I just do import normal dynamic pitch 0 snap. So I believe what that does is it tries to snap each individual wave position to be at 0 crossing positions. So at this time, which is definitely a wavetable, but it's not very ideal. So if, just so I can show you what I did there, there's this little pencil here, and that brings you to the oscillator, or the wave editor, as I call it. And here there's a couple of things you want to do. So if you just click around through the samples, like you'll notice that these are blank, so you can hit minus to remove them. That one's essentially nothing, and I'll keep that there. Now, what I do first is I remove the DC offset of all the samples. DC offset basically means, let's say this entire waveform, it looks like a sine wave oscillating up here. Ideally, you want it to be oscillating around 0. So when you remove the DC offset, you're just kind of centering everything. So the average energy of that wave is centered around 0. And the next thing is that they're all kind of quiet. This is a wavetable. This isn't a sample. So a wavetable is just a table of numbers. So what we can do is we can say, well, we don't want these little tiny peaks. We want to turn those into loud peaks. So you can do normalized each. So what you can do is you can make it so each one is gained to be normalized to a maximum volume or some volume reference, or normalize them the same. Now I'm going to try doing the same, and you'll see that that doesn't really help all the samples. Now in some situations that's better. In this case, I'm just going to use normalize each, and you'll see that each one is kind of peaked. Now, at this point I go back in here, it's still pretty wacky. There's too much. So there's a few things you can do. You can do process, and you can do X fade or crossfade edges, and that's just going to add a little bit of a crossfade, between each adjacent edge, and that just helps it so that there's more of a seamless transition. Now it's still not going to sound very good, so one thing that I've been playing around with is you can do sort by spectrum, average spectrum, and that's going to try to place waves next to each other that are somewhat similar. And then another thing you can do is you can reduce to, let's say, 64 wave positions, and now I have 64 positions. Now if I go back here, it's a little less wacky, but they don't really sound very good, I guess, because they don't transition well. So I'll do sort by spectrum again. Let's see what that does. Seems to be a little better. You can do process X fade edges again, because now they have new edges, I guess. And it's not necessarily that smooth, but each kind of sample is different. And that is what I would consider a good wave. I don't even know what I did there. I said morph crossfade, so I'm guessing that went in and it, crossfaded adjacent waves to be more similar. So this is the 3D view. You can double click and switch back to this, and now you can see that it is morphing. Instead of doing discrete steps, it has more steps. If you can see down here, there's 255 steps. So it did a kind of crossfade between my 64 steps to create these 256 steps. At that point, it's pretty good. You can slap an LFO on that. That's a little aggressive. Let's do rate of a bar. Now, it's not perfect, but again, I mentioned that the quality of these waves, you can keep working it and massaging it and doing all these different process parameters, but there is to some extent, it depends on the quality of your sample. Not necessarily the quality, but the wavetable ability of it. Not everything is ideal to be turned into a wavetable. Now, this is one way to create them. As I mentioned, there's other ways. Technically, you can create wavetables in something like MATLAB. Wavetables are just tables of numbers. So technically in Excel, you really need a way to convert that to an actual file. So if I do a save here, and I'll just save Spooky Piano D1, and I'm gonna play it, but you're not gonna hear it because I'm recording in Logic. But I'll play it on the screen right now, and you notice that the wave, it's pretty weird how it's saved, but it is saved as a wave file. Which I'm guessing is just a list of all these different table positions. And there's probably some standard, maybe not, but at that point you can import them into Kontakt and you have your wavetable. And that's exactly what I did in that Kontakt 6 video where I showed you how to make a wavetable instrument. So anyways, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Subscribe for more, as I'm going to be making a lot more videos on Kontakt 6 and other things in Complete 12 in the coming weeks. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.